Hello everyone and welcome to the session on bringing computational thinking and dynamic models to the classroom. My name is Farid Pasha and I'm one of Wolfram's certified trainer. And my major role at Wolfram is to help educators around the world to integrate Wolfram technology products in their teachings to increase the learning capabilities of their students. We only have half an hour today, so let's get started. Before diving into tools and technology, first of all, I would like to share a few things about Wolfram research. Wolfram has deep roots in academia and education. We are founded in 1987 by Stephen Wolfram. Stephen still owns the company. He is very hands-on, owner, manager, and a lot of his vision for what a software tool or a computational tool is built right into the product. Stephen got his PhD from Caltech University at 20 years of age, so he's a rather brilliant man. And because of that, over the course of 3 decades, we have progressively built a technology base that is now used in all of the top 200 universities around the world and many of the Fortune 50 companies. So, evolution of our technology has developed strictly from a desktop installation to deploy and use on any platform at any time. So, 30 years ago, our main flagship product was Mathematica that was used in social sciences, physics, mathematics, statistics, life sciences, business finance, and engineering courses. In 2009-ish, we introduced another product called Wolfram Alpha or Wolfram Alpha Pro, and that opened up our reach to areas such as nutrition, architecture, arts and music, and really started to bring down the hurdles to use our tool into the middle, elementary, and high school. It is one of the most complex and ambitious software projects of all time and a major intellectual and technological achievement. And now with Mathematica Online, we are now deployable on phones, tablets, and all other types of devices with browsing capability. The talk today is more focused on using Wolfram technology products in elementary, middle, and high schools, and how you can employ them to enhance your students' learning experience. Wolfram technology has a suite of tools that goes across and support early learners at age 6, 7, and all the way up to high school and secondary schools with variety of different tools. The nice things about these tools are that they are built to be integrated with each other and allow you to easily switch from one to the next. Each one of it giving an opportunity to you to develop an artifact or even more to engage and excite the students to learn more explorations. One of the tools I'm going to demonstrate today is Wolfram Alpha. Wolfram Alpha is a computational knowledge engine, and the goal is to make world's knowledge systematically computable and accessible. This technology drives the world, and I believe most of you might have used Wolfram Alpha knowingly or unknowingly in Apple Siri, Amazon Alexa, or in the most recent releases of Microsoft Excel, as all of these have our technology built under the hood. So if I look at Siri, for example, and let me open the user guide for Siri, and you can see that it talks about what Wolfram Alpha is and how it is used in a Wolfram Siri query. If you have not seen it, I can guarantee that your student have. Therefore, I suggest you to take a few minutes to explore Wolfram Alpha. Wolfram Alpha is designed to build a better student knowledge and deeper explorations. So let's go and explore some of the examples. So what I'm going to do over here is open the browser and go to wolframalpha.com. Wolframalpha.com is a free tool, and you can enter a natural language query in plain English and it will compute using built-in algorithms, knowledge base, and AI technology. Let's enter a query and ask Wolfram Alpha what is the boiling point of water. So you can notice over here how it has interpreted the English language and given you a result of 99.9 or almost 100 degrees centigrade. It has automatically converted it into other units as well. Let's make it more interesting and say, okay, what is the boiling point of water at Mount Everest maybe? And I have jeopardized some of my spellings over here, but still Wolfram Alpha would be able to understand what I'm asking, and it knows about the chemical properties of the water, it knows the formula of boiling, it gets the altitude of the mountain, and then give you the result. Wolfram Alpha covers all subjects including chemistry, physics, history, science, engineering, music, as well as mathematics. So let's try a few more examples to get an idea of how broad the Wolfram Alpha knowledge base is. So maybe I'm interested more in like physics, so we can click on the physics and see what types of examples we can go and we can ask Wolfram Alpha in that. Maybe you want to compute the mechanical work or analyze a harmonic oscillator or a statistic physics or thermodynamic equation as well. So maybe let's take this example like computation with Joule's law, and I can say, okay, what is the Joule's law if the value of U resistance is 10 ohm for 10 seconds? So it knows about that what you are asking, the heat, it gives you the equation, and you can then take this equation and then utilize it in your later computations as well. Let's take another example, maybe more interactive in nature, and you can ask something like double pendulum, and let's see what Wolfram Alpha tries to interpret and gives you the result for that. So it gives you some of the computational inputs where you can enter what would be the initial angle, the length of your pendulum, the mass of the balls, and then you can compute it, the equation corresponding to that. And if I scroll down, it will give you the schematic diagram of both the pendulums connected together, as well as a dynamic path it will follow if you have if this type of computation is being done. And I can change the values from here. So maybe you want to change the initial angle from 57 to maybe 75. You can see the effects. What happens if the length is doubled and then the length of the second pendulum is reduced to half, and you can see what effects it's bring to the trajectory of the double pendulum. And you can go down and you can see, okay, what is the schematic diagram for this. Now you can see what's the difference between the trajectory when the lengths are now differ over here. Let's take one more example, and maybe in this case I will ask, like, can I see the Hubble telescope now? And it tells me that at this specific moment the Hubble Space Telescope is below the horizon from my location, and where it is currently, and it automatically understands that my position, because I'm currently in Toronto at this specific time, it is not currently visible at this location. And more information about this telescope, when it was launched, who are the operator companies, what was the purpose for that, some of the orbital information for that, and what is the current location of that. So it automatically computes all that information and then give you the results. So now let's move forward, and I'll show you an example of how you can utilize Wolfram Alpha for learning how to solve certain type of mathematical and arithmetic questions. So maybe from here I take an example of doing a fraction over here, and it gives you the exact results, it gives you the decimal approximation. But now you notice that there is another button over here which tells step-by-step solution. So clicking on this step-by-step solution will help your students to understand what are the intermediate steps if they want to solve the specific questions by their hand. So you can click on the next steps, it gives them the hint how to move forward. Another step, you need to multiply, like giving all those things, how you are doing that. Or you can just click on show steps and it will give them all the intermediate steps which are required to solve this question if they are trying to do it by hand. So it's a good knowledge available for the students to learn how to solve a specific set of question. And the learning doesn't stop here. So we also have like a Wolfram problem generator which develops an unlimited AI generated practice problems for the students where they can solve certain types of questions, problems, and get the answers, see the step-by-step solution, and it also maintain the history for that. So for example, like let's go in maybe arithmetic and because I'm very bad in mathematics, so I'll take a very basic example, maybe solving an addition. So you can select difficulty levels from here, like beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So let's start with the beginner level and say what is 6 plus 10. So maybe I'm very bad in mathematics and I say okay, it's 9. So it will, oh no, this is not correct, it gives you an answer, and not correct, and it gives you also the hint of how to do that. And so, oh silly Farid, the answer should be the 10. And then I reevaluate and it says okay, this is the correct answer. And then you see it maintains the history for that. So maybe the student want to improve their skill set and they say okay, now let's keep on solving these types of questions unless I get all the at least five questions in a row to correct. That means that I have mastered certain type of level and then I can move forward. So you see it's keeping the history of what I'm saying. So maybe the teacher can also go back and look into the history and see what specific set of problems are causing problems to a specific student, and then he can work on those specific things to work out on that specific student. So problem generator is also available in Wolfram Alpha Pro. Website and mobile version of Wolfram Alpha Pro has been a huge hit with students. They are excellent for quick single calculations and visualizations, but in order to develop more advanced dynamic models, class notes, lectures and slides, you need to work in Wolfram Alpha notebook environment. And you can notice that my today presentation is also in Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition. So Wolfram Alpha notebooks were released last year, and it is ideal for pre-university education. It combines the best of Wolfram Alpha and Mathematica into a single unified tool, perfect for teaching and learning. You can also enter plain English to get instant answers to your questions, create and customize graphs, and turn static examples into dynamic models. So it is a huge tower of technology, but what it does is to let student or a teacher to work through without any syntax or reading any documentation. Let's see this in action. So what Mathematica notebook environment allows me is to immediately build up or walk through what I am trying to do. So for example, I wanted to start by integrating a certain function like x divided by 1 plus cos x, and I just press enter and it will give me the result of what is that. But I want to build further on top, and I say okay, now I have got the result, I want to maybe differentiate this, and then I can enter that and it automatically builds on top of that. So it gives me the integrate, and then I can use to differentiate it, and then I say okay, let's go further and plot that, and I'm going to plot that for me, and you can see how quickly I can start building up things. So in Wolfram Alpha pro web version, mobile version, you can just do only single calculation, but in the notebook environment, you can build through your work and you can take it further. It is very common to use Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition to create visualizations of concepts. So often students will just ask for the visualizations themselves, but teachers can also set up templates for visualizations and let students fill in their own function or data to explore. So for example, you want to do certain type of 2D visualization. Maybe you can say, okay, graph of a line like y is equal to 2x plus 2, and you can see the corresponding result of a line, and you can maybe discuss with the students what is the slope, how to calculate the slope, what is the y intercept over here, and then you can take the discussion further in the class. Or you can say, okay, what is the graph of this, and then you want to have another line over there, and you say, okay, there is another line like maybe y is equal to 2x square plus 2, and then you can evaluate it and see how the corresponding two lines are. And you might have noticed that how Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition gives separate colors to both these lines. The legend is also available, which lines refer to that, and you can see, okay, what are the corresponding points where both these lines intersect, and then you can take the discussion further for that. Or you can do any type of 3D visualization. Let's take a 3D example where I want to have like a plot of sine x and cos x and give certain values like x maybe from 0 to 4 pi and y is from 0 to 2 pi. And you can see the Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition would automatically take this input in plain English, no syntax, gives me a 3D plot. I can rotate around this 3D graph, see what's happening where. I can zoom in, zoom out, and do all that type of the things with in the 3D graphic without any writing any specific syntax or code. I can maybe do a polar plot, give certain values, and maybe then I can give this as a template to the students also, to maybe they can make the changes and see how the polar plot affects for a certain function. Maybe just I'll change, so ask students to change these values and they change it from 2 by 3 to 4 by 3, maybe from 3 pi to 6 pi, reevaluate that and see what will happen to that specific plot if certain changes are made. So you can also make a template and then just share it with your students and they can play around with that as well. Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition also supports dynamic interactive visualizations where students or teachers can build all sort of dynamic visualizations just by using plain natural English. So maybe I'll say, okay, make a counter plot of cos a plus x and cos of y with varying a. So what it should do is it should give me a slider bar which will help me varying the variable a and see the effects of that variable on the contour plot. So you can see how quickly, without knowing any syntax or doing any learning any documentation or going through that, I can develop some dynamic model as well. Maybe you are going in the class and you want to discuss how the behavior of a curve analysis of a sine x is. So you may just go and type it like curve analysis of sine of x maybe, and just evaluate that by pressing enter, and Wolfram Alpha Notebook will give you a complete curve analysis of what that sine x looks like. So it's just updating the interface. My black signs mean it's working. So I can see that there's a function sine of x. It gives me the graph for that. A lot more options where I can show the roots or the extremum points. I can just click on one period and it shows me how behavior is in one period. Click on the roots, maybe tell that more features are available. Style options come in. Maybe you want to show the legends over here, and you can see by clicking on those options more features are being shown. Mouse over options, I can change the background light or dark. You can get the derivative and also plot on the same axis. You can have the integral of this curve and also plot it on the same axis. So you can utilize this in the classroom and make your sessions more interactive rather than having a more static discussion. And the query need not only to be in mathematical in nature only. You can ask something like what is the structure of caffeine, and it will give you the result for that. Or maybe you can ask something like the combustion of methane. You are interested to know what is the chemical equation for combustion of methane, and it should give me like when you combust methane using an oxygen, the end result will be water and the carbon dioxide. So you can get a lot different type of questions and results in Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition. Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition also lets you work on problems that has multiple steps. What this basically means, it gives you the ability to refer to results of the previous evaluations or locally defined variable. So for example, I want to have this matrix of 4 by 4 and want to find the maximum value of the determinant of this matrix at any given interval. So to get to result, I need to have multiple steps to that. So doing that in a Wolfram Alpha Pro website or a mobile version is not possible because it requires multiple steps. So I can use the Notebook Edition to set the metric first. I say okay, so let's set M be the matrix, and then I can go forward and I can say okay, maybe I need to get the determinant of this matrix. So maybe set like a variable f, and that should be the determinant for that. And once I have that, I can then go forward and then use that variable to find the maximum value between an interval. Maybe I want to find the maximum f of x between two interval. So maybe between 0 and 2019 maybe. And then it will give me the maximum value of of the determinant between this interval. So I can utilize this to do in multiple steps. Then I can also define any certain function and then call that function later into my session to do that. So maybe I'll say that let fun of g maybe let's take a simple one, g square, and I define that function. And when that function is defined, then I can just call that function anywhere. Maybe I just want to have the f prime of this, like the first derivative of that, and I can just call that function to give me and then utilize it further into my session as well. And then maybe I want to have a plot of that function. So maybe I will say plot of that function, and maybe along with it also plot the derivative of that function. And I'll have both the function as well as the derivative in the same plot, so I can utilize that. Now similarly, as I can see the step-by-step solution in the web version, I can also have a show steps option in the Notebook Edition version also. And maybe I'll say okay, let's integrate point divided by x plus 2 whole power 2. And rather than that, I say okay, show steps of this, and then evaluate it. and it will now show me the step. So I can learn from here what are the intermediate steps. So same thing is now available in the notebook edition as well. Or you can just click on show steps and all the steps will be shown here. Now you might be wondering and saying, okay, Farid, this is very good stuff. I'm amazed to see what it can offer. But are there any pre-built things which I can just go and I can use them? So you can see over there are certain examples over here, and I can click on the browse starting point. And it gives me more options from mathematics, chemistry, physics, or life sciences as well. So let's go to chemistry maybe, for example. And I want to go further and maybe explore something in the equilibrium. And you can see it is a complete notebook comes out with the headings and text and all those information over here. And it can take you like similarly to a class lecture or a class notes you want to develop, like what is the equilibrium constant. It will give you the equation for that, or that you want to take forward like the equilibrium constant for NO2 to N2O. If you are from a chemistry background, you might know much more better than what I can understand. Then you can maybe utilize to show steps for the equilibrium. What are the steps available over here? And then maybe have some textual representation of another type of an example of or in the gas phase at certain things. So you can add text. So all of these things are like divided into different types of cells where you can enter text, headings, sections, and develop a complete type of a lecture note. So many of these examples are available from the notebook environment as well, which are already pre-built and are ready to use. Then there are certain type of demonstrations also which are pre-built, and the link is directly from your notebook edition. So you can click on the browse demonstrations, and then you have access to all of these interactive demonstrations in the different fields. So maybe you want to explore something in the mathematics section, and you want to go to like maybe school mathematics from middle school, high school area. So they are divided into different categories, and you can choose from there. Maybe you are interested in some high school geometry thing, or pre-calculus, or analytical geometry. So maybe let's explore something from the high school geometry section. And you can see there are like almost 300 plus pre-demonstrations already built. So I'm pretty sure what you are teaching in class, there will be a demonstration already built, which is directly available to you in the Wolfram Alpha notebook environment. So you can click on anyone from here. Maybe you want to know more about triangle centroid into your class, and then you can take this demonstration to the class also. So it gives you a little bit information about this, who has shared this model, and if you want to use that. So this is Mr. Paul Abbott from Australia who has shared this demonstration, and you can also download the source code of this. So if you want to make certain small changes into that and utilize it as per your requirement, you can do that. You can change these certain parameters and see how it behaves. So there are many demonstrations which are available over here. So I'm pretty sure you will find some demonstrations which are of direct utilization to you maybe in your next class. So maybe something from a low grade elementary 3 and 5 mathematics. You see there are 60 plus. Let's maybe click on this demonstration. You can see what this demonstration does. And you can develop all the demonstrations similar to these as yourself also, because you see these are already contributed by people around the world. Like this is from Torrey Pines High School. They have developed this, where you can select certain value of X, and then it passes through a certain equation, and then you can see and you can discuss in the class what will be the result, and then you can show the answer or something like that. So all these things are available. Pre-built demonstrations are available also. And in the end, just a quick summary of how you can utilize in your classroom. So you can use it for student explorations. You can work through many examples per class using Wolfram Alpha, or you can build through some work utilizing the notebook environment. Students can check their work, and not only the answers, they can see the step-by-step solution. You can use it for visualization. It's always better to see how, like, with surfaces, what the line is, how it's cutting. It's always hard for me to understand when in our mathematics class teacher used to say there is a surface and the line is passing through that. Nowadays, with all these quick visualizations, it's very easy to understand these things. And then you can use real world data as well, like where is the spacecraft right at this moment, what's the boiling point, what different elevations, and all those things are also available to you. And I hope you will find this session interesting, and do spend some time in exploring the Wolfram Alpha website, mobile version, as well as the notebook version. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you. Bye-bye.